Okay guys, and welcome back to our next video, which is now the current video, the video on how to extract rigged mesh. In a previous video, I showed you how to extract static items and mesh, such as prims, sculpts, flexi, and static mesh, and showed you errors you may encounter when doing so and how to fix them in Blender. So it's only natural that we go to the next part of our tutorial here, and that is how to extract rigged mesh. Now, I'm going to make something very clear before we begin this tutorial, because no matter how many times I say it throughout the tutorial, people seem to not understand it and ask me anyway, which sends me into a frenzy, because you know I'm not always on my medication, and then I gotta snap at people for it. So I'm going to say this now at the very beginning, very clearly, so you don't have to ask me and I don't have to snap. You ready? Okay, here we go. During this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to extract rigged mesh. Any form of mesh that you can wear that moves with your body is considered rigged mesh. This has included mesh bodies, mesh hair, mesh eyes, mesh accessories, mesh fingernails, mesh clothes, mesh bodies of various sizes, extendable asses, deformers, and all things that are mesh that are rigged. Every form of rigged mesh. It works with this tutorial. Please do not ask me if blah 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 from blue blah blah works with this tutorial. Yes, if the mesh is rigged, then it works with this tutorial. If you can wear the mesh and move around with the mesh, then it works with this tutorial. One more time for the people in the back. If it moves when you wear it, then you can use this tutorial for it. Okay, I think we got it now. Alright, so now, okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about how you can extract rigged mesh rigged mesh from Second Life. Now, also bento, BOM, can be extracted too. It's rigged in this mesh. It can be here. There you go. Make sure I cover those two guys. Those were new and added in since our last one. Okay, so let's talk about how to extract mesh. Just like our previous tutorial, you are going to XML export our rigged mesh items. Now, I'm going to use this dress that I'm wearing right now as the subject, as well as this lovely cat assistant here for how to grab it off somebody else, even though the process is exactly the same. However, unlike bringing in and extracting static items, such as static mesh and prim, sculpt, and flexis, we have to run our rigged mesh through a secondary program besides Hydra. When we extract it, we're going to run it through a program called Mesh Helper. If you have used Meshes SL before, it is exactly the same. However, it was updated to work with the new cache system that Linden Labs has updated and killed the other viewers with. So yes, victory is ours. So I'm going to show you how to use Hydra to extract it, as well as use Mesh Helper to process it, and then how to bring it back in. Because in most cases, you can't just export it and bring it back in, because it'll be too heavy or too many triangles. You know, Second Life just might hate it because it's Tuesday. All that fun jazz. Okay, let's begin. First things first, you will have to wear the mesh that you want to extract. If the item is rigged, it must be worn. It cannot be on the ground. And no, we cannot take it out of boxes either. If we could, how rich would I be right now? So rich. But we can't. You have to wear the mesh that you want to extract. I kind of say that one time. You have to wear the mesh you want to extract. If it is in your inventory, it will not work. If it is on the ground, it will not work. If it is on a display thing in world, it will not work. It has to be worn in order for you to extract the mesh properly. So we're going to put on this demo dress that I got from God knows where, and we're going to extract it from the game. So like our previous video, we're going to right click on ourself, and then we're going to go to Hydra tools, and then the avatar XML export isn't highlighted. What do we do? Well, sometimes that happens. When you try to export something, you may select yourself and everything, and it just won't highlight. So you can just try harder to click on the garment, and then sometimes that will work. But I found a good surefire way to fix that is to go into build and then res a cube, and then wear said cube. So just go put on, or you can do attach to right arm and then right hand. That way you definitely know where it's going and it's on you. So then you just right click on the cube, and then you go Firestorm tools and stuff, and then avatar XML export. And then you're going to go down here and select all the stuff that you want. To save time, I just press all and select everything, and only the mesh will come through. So you can ignore all the rest of that stuff because we don't need it. The next thing you want to get in the habit of doing is checking the download texture box. This will allow us to have the texture sorted and stuff inside of Mesh Helper, which is a helper. And you want to get into the swing of doing it. So always check that box, and then we're going to press Hydra export. And I'm going to save this as Mesh Demo 1. And then it's going to save. Now, let's say we wanted to grab somebody else in here. What you would do for that is the same process. You would just click on them, go to Hydra's tools, go to Avatar XML export, all because it saves some time. Then download the texture, Hydra export, save the same thing, and hit save. Okay, so we need to close the viewer. I'm not sure if you actually need to do that this time around with the new program. I just been doing it out of habit since I use meshes, and I'd rather be safe than sorry, so just close this afterwards. But before we close it, we're going to need to know where the cache is for Hydra, so we can input it inside of Mesh Helper. So to find the cache, we just go into Avatar, Properties, then Network and Files, then Directories, and then it says Cache Location, and we're just going to open it. And it's going to open up the folder for you, which is going to be great. So at the top of your folder where the address bar is, you're just going to select it, copy, cut, and then close it. And then we're just going to have it inside of our clipboard for right now. So that's it for Second Life right now. We just need to close this and go about our biz. So close and biz. Hopefully I don't have nothing embarrassing opening this time again, so we have to do it again. Actually, you know what? I don't know if that's true or not. Hold on, let me pause this and I'll meet you guys at my desktop. Alright, sorry about that. Last time I did this part of the tutorial, I closed Hydra, and there was a picture that my mom had just texted me there, me eating at Thanksgiving, and that was not funny. So nobody sees that picture, but you can use your imagination. Just and then that's how I look. Open your mouth and do that, and that's what the picture of me was like. Okay, so I need you guys to go over to my website, and on the add-on section, we'll have Hydra. In the add-on section in the Hydra website, there is a file there called Mesh Helper, or you can get it out of our Discord. I prefer the website because we can update that easier for you, and all you have to do is download it and then throw it somewhere. I put my copy inside of my documents folder, and then I pinned it to my start menu because I can't pin it down here to my desktop for some reason. So when you put it, I put it somewhere where it can easily be found. So I just put it here in my documents. So it's Mesh Helper 01. Is 01 the latest, or is it 02? Well, 01 at the time of me recording this right now. 02 could be out any minute now because Anessa is a perfectionist. So if anybody complains about anything, she'll dive right in and attack it. So as long as you got mesh helper, just throw it inside here. So I have mine right here on my desktop, and I right clicked and sent it to either, you can send it a shortcut to your desktop so you can easily click it, or you can put it somewhere else, stick it somewhere else. Anyway, this is important because they're gonna need something here. I'm sorry, it's been a minute since I used it. I kind of forgot what to do. Alright, so once you have your, you know what, I need to download it, that way I can show you how to set it up. Let's see. Hydra. Hell Hydra. And then you go to add-ons, and then, yeah, let's see, updated version. Okay, so it downloads. This way I can tell you exactly what the folder should look like. I don't like you. When you open it, it should look like this, and it's not. So we have Hydra, you have this, you got Mesh Helper, you want to drag it to your desktop or wherever you want to. I put mine in my documents, like I said before. Then we're going to open up the folder, and you're going to see Mesh Helper in here by default with no folders, but that's okay. We'll have something will come out when we use it for the first time. So as you see, we got a nice splash screen. We getting professional and fancy here. And then we have our mesh thingy application. Now, if you see the purple one, then you're using the right one for the new versions of Second Life. If you have a blue version, then you're using the wrong one. You want to go and look for the purple, not the blue. Alright, before you use it, it's going to ask you to set up your cache folder, but because I have already installed this on here, it does it by automatically, but we can just go here and do it now. So, where it says cache folder path, you want to click on the 3 dots, and thank you, Anessa, for changing that stupid menu. All we have to do now is just select the, what's this thing called? The address bar, press Control A, select everything, then Control V, and then press enter. And it'll take you to the folder with your cache. You don't have to select anything, just paste that address in there, and then press select folder. And it's going to take a second because it's registering all the new stuff that it has to do and trying to make it go properly. So give it a second, and once it pops into like existent, it should look like this. Now, I know you're going to jump in there and just go to read the XML file, but wait, we have some things we have to do first. First thing we need to do is set our options and optimize the program for our maximum happiness. So to do that, we need to go to the tools and preferences, and then we're going to introduce you to this nice window right here. Now you want to make sure that your boxes look like my box, so that way everything works out. So let's say you don't want that splash screen to show up, or if it's lagging you or you crash or whatever. When you do get it to work, you can click that and you can check this box right here. It says show splash screen. I know that was a thing back in the beta, but we fixed that. So is that. Save textures as PNG because by default they're J2C or TGA. Those formats. It's all about ping here. We all love ping, don't we? Oh, okay, sorry. That was my Lore Olympus group going on. I'm like, what? It's Lore Olympus time? To hell with y'all. You did to me. Let me read. Okay. Now it's just somebody happy birthday. Alright, so we want this as ping because ping is the biz. You want it to download missing textures. I'm going to turn this down. You want to download the missing slim, even though we don't really use those. You want to make sure that the full skeleton is showing. If this is unchecked, then it will only download the skeleton with the bones that are visible with the that are attached to the mesh. For example, if let's say you are downloading or extracting a pair of hands, and the only thing that's inside the skeleton is just a hand with the finger bones, it will import only the hand bones, not the arm bones or the pelvis bone or anything like that, only a partial skeleton, which is good sometimes, but it can be bad other times, so it's always for good lord. I turned it off. There you go. Hopefully that does it. Sorry, I just got a cell phone, so I don't know how to work it. If you only turn it down isn't good enough, you have to turn off notifications. Okay, sorry about that. So like I was saying, sometimes you want to have that full skeleton to come in there so that you can use it for other things. I know, like with some of the times when I'm making a dev kit, the skeleton that's on the body is the wrong skeleton, but the skeleton that's with the hands for some reason is the proper skeleton. And we wouldn't have that if we only had the partial hand ones. We want to have as many full skeletons as we can just to maximize our success rate for when we create things. So make sure the full skeleton is done. Always output the skeleton. Yes, you want that to happen because sometimes without it, it would be like it was in the earlier days of meshes where it would export the mesh, but it will not have the skeleton in there for using for Blender or whatever that we would want it for. It was strictly kind of like an all stealing thing where it export and then you would bring it right back into Second Life and then wear it. Or the bad case of that is when you would export it and then it was broken, like it was too heavy or something like that, and you needed to put it into Blender to correct it, remove triangles, decimate it, break it down into parts so that you can bring it in. You wouldn't be able to do any of that because the skeleton was missing, and so you would just have a rigged mesh with no visible skeleton, whatever. So it was a pain in the ass, and I'm glad. Always keep that box checked. Down here below is some stuff, some dirty dealings, if you will. This will allow you to modify the mesh. You can say, like, okay, let me see if I can give you a good example of this. Whenever you export mesh from your workstation, either it's Blender or Maya or whatever, it's full of metadata, which is like fancy word of saying the text that makes up the actual mesh file. And this metadata will have things like it was made inside of Blender X.3 and it was made by this person with this and that. And with that, this box right here, specified day properties, you can change that row of data with data that you want to put in there. So let's just say you grabbed a t-shirt, right, from in here, and you import it back in. Somebody could say, hey, that's my t-shirt you stole there. And you're like, no, it's not. I made this shirt from scratch. Whatever do you mean? And they're like, uh-huh. And then they rip it out from Second Life and put it in here, and they go and look at it, and it has their name and their Blender and stuff on there, and they're like, haha, liar, I got you. You see, the metadata never lies. Well, now we can make that metadata lie, and you can write that you are the author, and you made it inside of whatever environment you want. And then it's like, oh, well, I see. I was mistaken. So you just made a copy or a t-shirt that looks very similar to mine. Yes, I was inspired by your work and I made my own version. I did it from scratch. So that's what all that's for. I'm not even entirely sure what the user agent is. It might be, I think that maybe it could be either the name of the person whose computer it came from, or maybe the user UUID or something. I don't know. I meant to ask Anessa about that, but I never got around to it because I was still kicking up my heels at the fact that this program worked so well that I forgot to really ask details. My bad. But if you're curious, she is inside of our Discord, so you can poke her and ask her yourself, which I'm sure she would love. Okay, so turn that off. I don't have any reason to do that. So next, we're going to our local cache app and cache options, and you want to just select all of these. Just check them all. I'm not even going to go through explaining it. Just check them all. And then we come to the output selection. This is a day list. This is just for, what do you call it? Like filing. So the day cache list is that long text file that said you extracted this, you extracted that, the name and stuff on there. So this is write the slim was not found list. So this is when you have the download missing slim, it will create a document that says this was the slim that they couldn't find, and blah blah blah. Write model readme file. This just tells you all the data on it, like how many triangles it has and all that fun stuff. Write wearables. This is for when you're like me and you export everything from that person, and it has wearables like hair the hair cap, the t-shirt, the alpha. I think that creates it for that. And this is an XML for, I don't know. I just checked. It was checked when I got here. I check it when it's here. So anyway, just make it look like this and you should have a good round of success. And then once everything is done, just hit apply. Must provide US agent string. Oh, no, I don't. Okay. Then you hit apply. Then you hit save and close. And it's going to ask you, ow. I need softer alerts. Just hit yes. And then we close it. Okay, now we've got all of that sorted out. Let us go and finally import our mesh. So we're going to go to File, and we're going to find our tutorial file. And we're going to select our mesh. And now, it's going to take a little bit longer. Now, it won't take long for me because I actually exported this before. But when you've run your first run through with this, it is going to take a little longer to load it up than we're used to with the previous meshes because it's doing a lot more. It's gathering the files from it, it's gathering the texture, and it's got a whole new cache system. So it's going to take a little bit longer than what we're used to, but it's far more efficient. So please wait. So once you have everything checked, you're just going to create all files for models and then wait for the circle to go. Hold down the escape button and let it do its business. For me, I like to just hold it down until the little processing circle is done, and then once it's done, you can move on to the next patch of mesh XMLs that you're supposed to do. So we're going to mesh demo and wait for it to go. It's processing. And sorry. Okay, now it's done. So once it's all done, we can just press the button here, create D files, and wait for that circle to hit. Okay, once it's done, we're just going to hold down the escape button until the circle has stopped circular and turns back into an arrow. It's better than waiting for each one to come up and then having to like yes, okay, yes, okay, yes, okay. Okay, it's done. So once it's all done, you can just safely close this. And we're going to go back to our folder where we had our mesh helper. And one thing that I really would like for you to do is to send, like you'll notice that some new folders came in. One is the cache folder and the other is the output folder. The output folder is where all of your saves are going to go. And for the sake of organization, like trying to get there easier for me, I took my output folder and I sent it to my desktop as a shortcut. So just create a shortcut. That way I could just get there without having to like file, documents, mesh helper, output. No, that's like a output folder right there on my desktop. And then I jazzed it up even more by going into my properties of the shortcut and then changing the icon to something a little better than just the folder there where it can get lost. Like, you know, something that makes it stand out. Now, I know you guys with your newer versions of Windows, you got better, prettier icons than me down here. But I just like these. So I just put this little magnifying glass and then hit apply and then okay. It'll change later on, but right now, that's what I like. So, here are all the things that we had extracted. They're all in their own folder. No more of that, what do you call it? That crap we used to do. Shortcuts, going today. No more of that. They're all in their own folder. And, as you can see, it came with all the textures that make the item go inside of here, as well as the day, which has been named. So really all you have to do now is select it and import it. Now I'm not going to upload that one. I'm going to find what's mine. Now, I have a bento bakes on mesh body, and as you can see, it exported the textures that were there. Not all of them, just I guess what it could, because it's bakes on mesh. It did head, lower, upper. Because it's baked on mesh, you have to do something a little bit different to get those skin textures like we used to. But the body is still here, so we can try to upload the body and see what happens. I'm going to pause because I got to go sign in, and when we sign in, we're going to upload it, so be right back. Okay, hello, Cracker Jacks. Zero's back. Time to do the thing. Oh, yeah, I was importing mesh. So I'm back on the normal viewer because I don't like uploading stuff through Hydra, because whatever reason, stuff happens. So we are going to go to our folder. I don't know where the output folder is. It should be here, but it's not. Crap. All right, hang on. Let me go back and find it. Output. Thank you, darling. Okay. So we're here with our output folder. And if you want to make it easier for you, you can also organize it by going to your favorite side over on the panel and then adding the current folder to favorites. That way, when you're uploading it, all you got to do is just select your output folder and you don't have to go shuffling through wherever the hell you saved it. Alright, so now we have our stuff we're going to upload in and see if it works. I have my body that I exported here, and we can import this in. And so far, so that's my body, good old naked me. So this, and then like I said, I do 0 to 0. Now I bet some of you are wondering, well, what about if I was using a designer body? Is that any different? No. However, it's maybe a little bit different. I gotta think about that one. Is it different? The process isn't different. That's the same. But sometimes the mesh body can be a lot heavier than something that is homemade. But don't get me wrong, some of these homemade bodies are just as heavy as the designer ones. Those heavy bodies can cause some issues when uploading it. It can cause some problems when uploading it, and I'm going to show you how to fix that in the next video, because that's a whole topic on its own. This one just showing you how to bring in, I'm going to take off these damn paddles. I never liked those feet. I had new pretty feet that I could just attach to that now. It's high time I do. Where's my pretty feet? I don't think I have any feet that match this body, but I'm damn sure I ain't uploading it with paddles. Okay, so we got our body back in, and I'm going to make it big on mesh real quick. So we just click on the bottom base, and then this is my lower. And okay, so this body was made pretty stupid by a pretty stupid person. Oh, okay, so lower. This is going to be upper. Upper. Don't know why lower went away, but we're gonna try to put it back. I know I could stretch it back into where it's supposed to be, but it's so funny. Let's see, lower, upper, and if that keeps happening, let's see. Can I unlink it? No, I don't know why that happens. It's probably just because of the stupid way I made this body back in the day. It could be fixed if I take it into Blender and separate it properly. But right now, it's just literally being a butt. Okay, so there we go. We have our body. That's little me. Take copy. Like, where did it go? So I'm going to take off my body, and then I'm going to put on this body, and you see, here I am. Hey, now if you're curious as to, like, really, is that me? Yeah, so let's take off this one, You see, this is my default Second Life standard body, and then this is me with my pretty rigged body. Yay! My wide shoulders. Alright, so that's how you export and bring stuff back in. Now, like I said, there is another problem that we need to discuss, and that's going to be in the next video, because every time you upload and export things, it's not going to come right in directly, so there's some troubleshooting that needs to be had, and I'm going to go over it with you, because some of these creators think they're being clever by making their bodies gigantic so that it won't work or process properly with the viewer, but little do they know, we found a workaround. And I'm going to teach you that workaround in the next video. So, if this helps you out and that's all as far as you want to go, thank you for watching, and I wish you well on your projects. Please Copybot responsibly. And I am not responsible for what you do with this viewer. Just saying it right now. Not responsible. All you. You did it. You. Okay, so see you guys in the next video where I show you some troubleshooting tips, tricks, and how to get those really big rig meshed items, as well as some big swim mesh stuff. So, see you!